Oh no, is it time to purge my record collection? Welcome back to the channel. Now, today I wanted to ask the question, when is it time to say goodbye to your vinyl records? This is something I've been thinking about a little bit for the past few weeks, past few months. I have amassed a lot of vinyl records and I love my vinyl record collection, but there does come a time where you kind of look around and you think, maybe I've gone overboard. So a bit of a story here. Now, I have been close to vinyl records really my whole life. There were vinyl records in the house when I grew up. One of my favorite records to listen to as a kid was the Christmas album by the Jackson 5. That was a staple. I loved listening to it all the days leading up to Christmas. I loved listening to it while we decorated the Christmas tree and, of course, opening up presents. But I didn't really get into records really seriously until about 2013. And that's when I started to really get excited about buying my first turntable, going to record stores and amassing lots of records at a fairly cheap price because I was buying them used, purchasing records online at Amazon or Turntable Lab or Barnes & Noble, and they're overpriced records. But the point is, I have a lot of records, which is not a bad thing. I actually have discovered a lot of music just by blind buying records. One of my favorite things to do back in 2013 and 2014, when I was really getting into it very heavy, was to go through used records, find records made by artists that I knew, but also take chances on records that I had never heard before. Albums that I chose based purely on the cover art or the title or maybe some of the liner notes, taking a chance on artists or groups that really interest me for some unknown reason. Something was just calling me to the record and I decided to answer the call. And boy, did I answer the call! Because a lot of these records I was buying because they were used were in all different kinds of conditions. And so that came with lots of cheap prices. And so I would get pop music over here, I would get R&B and soul music over there, I'd try a little bit of international albums and artists over here. I would pick up some comedy albums from comedians that I knew, a few of them I didn't know. And I just got a whole wealth of varied albums, varied genres, and I was filling up my Calyx shelves pretty nicely. But as the years go on and you collect more and more records, and your taste of music can actually grow because you're sampling things from streaming services and maybe YouTube, and you're just being open to various different types of artists and genres, that collection just keeps getting bigger. And so it just had me wondering, when is it time to say goodbye to some of your records? Do you ever do that? Is there times that you actually go through kind of like seasons where you will maybe do some spring cleaning, for lack of a better word, with your vinyl record collection? I know that there's people in the hobby, and to some degree I'm that person too, that can be a stickler for being on top of your record collection, maybe having spreadsheets, maybe having everything listed and set up in Discogs so you know what you have, you know what you bought, perhaps the condition it's in, perhaps the price you paid, and you can kind of make an assessment, an easy assessment without having to go through all of your shelves to know exactly what you have. You can make an easier assessment of what you want and what you perhaps don't want. So I would be curious to know if there is anyone out there that ever thinks about possibly purging their vinyl record collection. Maybe this is something that you have done, and I'm not talking about selling all your records and cashing out and just getting out of the hobby, but perhaps being more discriminating in terms of what you're collecting and letting go of albums that maybe you don't spin as much anymore, or maybe you just have to make a tough judgment call because you're running out of space and you don't want to leave the hobby, you want to keep collecting, but there's only so many places to put your vinyl records. So yeah, that's just something that's been on my mind lately, just something that I've been kind of kicking around. I actually think it's been a pretty good exercise for me because there's many records that I have that I purchased a long time ago and I never really got around to listening to them repeatedly. And so I've been able to pull out records, kind of sift through them, figure out what I actually really do love and I kind of want to prioritize, perhaps some albums that I need to listen to again to confirm I actually care about it, and records that I probably can put in the donate or for sale bin. So overall, guys, I want to turn this over to you. I'm curious to know what you think about possibly purging your vinyl record collection, going through it, selling records you no longer need, no longer want, or you just need to be able to maybe bank the money to be able to funnel into new records or a new turntable, new speakers, things like that. Are these things that you have done? Are these things that you think about? Maybe you actually regularly do this. I would love to know that as well. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, how about you drop the words "The Purge" in the comments section below? Put the words "The Purge" in the comments section below. I promise this is not gonna turn into a horror movie. No one's gonna knock on your door. But let's have the comment be "The Purge" if you made it all the way to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. I always appreciate it when you do that. And definitely hit the subscribe button as well if you want to be alerted whenever a new video drops. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. And of course, despite the topic, stay devoted to vinyl.